And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. We are happy to have Cole this morning producing the show. He is as Cole continues to train and produce the show, that means we're ready at FYN TV, Ralph. I'm excited to have you this morning. I'm glad to have you too. You know, Cole's over here, but how you doing, Ralph?
I'm doing good.
But you know, it's exciting because you come in and you and I have known each other for several years now. I know you're witnessing some of the growth and some of the things we're doing, and we're now ready to take on more broadcasting and more shows, and looking at getting out of the office and doing some road shows and different kind of things. So
I noticed you. I think if I saw you. I was looking at you this morning on the web. It looks like your website has had some redesign.
Well, yes, we've done some redesign, and we're happy to have Maddie on board. Maddie's working on some new stuff to make the site user friendly.
Yeah.
So we're working on things left and right here. Every day we're working towards just growing the business.
I don't know if you remember, and I don't know how many. When did Fetch start officially? 2000.
We're on our 6th year. November will be year 6.
So 2010.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, but you and I were sitting at Starbucks one day, and that was the first time you told me about the concept. And I said, wow, that's really cool. And I became your first religion editor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do religious articles all the time, and then some others came on board, and you grew from there. But I remember that very first conversation and that concept, and here we are.
Here we are. Voila.
Voila.
Hey, you know what? Why Ralph brought that up, glad to have Ralph Barker. We're going to get into the conversation this morning of events going on around the world, political and several other things. But as Ralph mentioned, we have a religion section. And if you're out there and you would like to write and send something into our religion section, we'd love to have it. We have an opinion section. So if you'd like to write and send it into our opinion section, that's chief@fetchernews.com. Contact us if you want to write and put something in our opinion. But also we have a religion section. So if you'd like to write and put something in there, we'd love to have you. Send it to us, chief@fetchernews.com. Ralph, we won't go into the Clint Eastwood Make My Day. We won't do that. He did a Make My Day. But here's what I find interesting. You know, one of the late night hosts, okay, one of the late night hosts, this is funny. They go out on the street and they do these man on the street kind of things, right? And one of the late night hosts goes out on the street and they take Donald Trump statements, but they stop people and tell people Hillary Clinton just made this statement. They give it Donald Trump's statement, and the people, because they say Hillary, they support it. You know what I mean? So meaning they have no idea what they're supporting, right?
Right.
Well, they have no idea what they're supporting.
And when we hear later on this clip, we got raised.
That's what I was setting up.
Yeah.
I'm setting that up.
That shocked me.
Did it shock you?
Well, when I heard it, I'm thinking, what?
Tell us about the clip, Ralph. Ralph,
Okay.
Tell us about this clip, and we're going to play it in a minute.
Well,
have
before
it
we
set
came
up.
over, I was catching up on the news, watching Fox News, and they showed this clip of Hillary giving one of her rah-rah speeches, and she was on a teleprompter this time. And Warren Buffett's sitting right here beside her, and she raises it up, and the last thing in her crescendo is, and we're going to raise taxes on the middle class. Everybody's going, yay, yay.
They were cheering.
They're the middle class. Did they get it?
I'm going to take...
Wait till you see the clip.
Play that clip for us. So you guys get that clip. Let us know when it's playing there.
Because while Warren is standing up for a fairer tax code, Trump wants to cut taxes for the super rich. Well, we're not going there, my friends. I'm telling you right now, we're going to write fairer rules for the middle class, and we are going to raise taxes on the middle class.
I can end the show there. You want to just end the show?
Let's go.
It's game over, right? End the show there, right?
I don't know if you saw this. It reminded me, I saw last night on Facebook a yard sign, and it says 2016, we're all screwed.
I mean,
That's about what you're getting to now. It's all
they're
over.
cheering. They're going nuts. We're going to raise it on the middle class. Yay, yay.
We're going to send everybody to Mexico. Yay, yay.
I'm at a loss on that. First of all, I have to apologize. I get wound up, and I want to thank all of my friends out there that help OBKP here. Hey, you're the old guy too, so don't think you're out of it. We're surrounded by millennials. Do you know
true.
we got Lonnie, we got Cole, we have Maddie coming in here. Maddie's a great young lady. Lonnie, Cole, Maddie. It's like romper room. I'm looking through here. I see Maddie. I see. They don't understand what that means. We got Daniel. Daniel's going to cover sports up in Fannin. We got Luke. It's like 5 or 6 of them. But we made a decision. You know what we're going to have to do? We're going to put apple slices and get goldfish crackers and put juice boxes in the refrigerator. Huh?
Capri Suns.
Capri Sun?
Yeah.
We have a request. They want a Capri Sun. Oh my God.
We need to do a show around millennials because I don't understand this group.
You don't?
No. To me, I mean, not to me. I mean, a lot of the things they do don't make sense to me. I mean, maybe they can explain it. Or at least we can have a show one day and just kind of explain some of these
You
things.
do know, Ralph, calm down. You do know they could push one button and we're through. They got their fingers on the nuclear code. Are you concerned about their temperament over there this morning? They have the finger on the codes, Ralph. They have the codes.
Well, I didn't say anything. I know this morning's show you had like a Donald Duck voice. I don't know how they did that.
How did you? Okay, Ralph. Let's get serious for a minute. So, Hillary Clinton is going to raise taxes on the middle class, and they cheer.
And they cheered.
I hate to say it like this. Is there any hope?
I told you yesterday, I'm getting down to the point where I just don't know. I mean, I'm getting, and you know, the thing about, did you talk about the intervention idea? With Donald Trump?
No, I haven't done it.
It's,
Look where you have me today. Now I have to. I need a winter coat. What are
it's
you
so
doing?
hot.
You're
It's
trying
so
to,
hot.
huh?
It's so hot. I'm trying to cool off.
I never know what Ralph. He comes in with Lonnie and he sets up a background. They don't tell me where we're going to be that day. No, talk about the intervention.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of interesting that this week, last week, has been so bad for Trump, and he's gone on these rabbit trails, caused trouble, the crying kid, and all the things that are going on, and now it seems like all his friends are saying we got to have a meeting, and we got to, what an intervention is. If you don't know that word, it's used a lot with like alcoholics or drug addicts. They don't know they have a problem, won't admit they have a problem, so the whole family just converges on them, says you got a problem, you got to get some help. And that's what they're doing, basically, are going to do with Donald Trump. Spend some time with him and say, you've got to stop going down these rabbit trails, picking fights you don't need to be fighting. You need to be fighting Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton only. She is the enemy. Obama is the enemy as far as we're concerned in this election. So he's not good at that. I don't know if he has the ability. His type of personality doesn't usually take advice very easily. And apparently so far, I don't know what his advisors are telling him, but he doesn't seem to be changing. So they think it's gotten to a point where it's really critical, is what I'm hearing.
Where are you hearing that? You're hearing it. You're hearing it from ABC,
No,
CBS.
Fox.
They're in the tank right now. They're in the tank. They got to have that. I believe it, but I don't believe it.
You don't believe they have the intervention?
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And let me tell you, first of all, I want to get this. I almost went here a minute ago. All my rowdy friends out there, they help me out, and every once in a while I get on a roll and I start talking about it. So I understand it's electoral college, it's not an editorial. So I've been saying electoral college. So it's electoral college. See, if George was here, he'd have me straight already. Okay. He would. George, electoral college. Okay, it's an ideal situation. It's not idea.
You need to do what O'Reilly does. That can be your word for the day at the end of the show. Our word for the day is electoral. There we go.
Okay, back to the point. I do not believe all of it. The DNC I talked about yesterday. The DNC is in disarray, but nobody's sending out talking points saying that they need an intervention. Nobody's talking about the intervention and the collapse on that side. So the Democrats are doing everybody says they're doing a better job getting the talking points out. But if you're sending the talking points out, you have to, if you throw a pass, somebody has to catch it, okay? Just use that for an example. If you throw the ball down the field, somebody has to catch it. Well, it's pretty good when you're a Democrat and you throw the ball out and the media is just sitting there waiting to catch it at all times, okay? Right. So they're sending the talking points out. They're sending out, they hear that the Trump campaign staff is suicidal. They hear all these negative things, Ralph, and they're running with it. And this includes Fox. Fox needs it for ratings. I think Fox is in the tank also for getting Gary Johnson on the stage. I think
I haven't heard that yet.
Huh? Well, yes, the new Fox poll has Gary Johnson polling at 12%.
Okay.
Okay, Gary Johnson, you have to have 15% to get on the stage. And I do agree that I do think that every media outlet, including Fox, and I watch Fox, but every media outlet, including Fox, is working to get Gary Johnson on the stage. I really do.
I wonder if that'd be a good thing or a bad thing.
Huh?
What would that do to the election?
Well, I think it's to dilute the one-on-one between Trump and Hillary. If you sit up there and you have nothing, optics are big, and I think you know that,
Yeah.
right? Optics are big.
Started with Nixon.
Huh?
Started back with Nixon was the turning point. I mean, that was the Kennedy-Nixon race is when optics really became an issue.
Nixon did not shave,
Yeah.
and that's serious enough, as silly as people think it is.
Yeah.
Nixon did not shave. He campaigned all day. He got up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He shaved. I know it sounds silly, but he did. He shaved.
Right.
Campaigned all day, went to the debate, had 5 o'clock shadow. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And didn't feel he needed to debate, came out on TV, and it hurt.
It did.
Right?
It did. Yeah.
The optics hurt.
I remember that election. I mean, that was like the 2000 election. It was very, very intense. Everybody was involved in that election.
So anyhow, and that's the year that they paid off all the sheriffs in West Virginia to turn West Virginia.
Okay.
Mhm.
1960.
Yes.
Okay.
The Democrats, Joe Kennedy went through West Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
and he went from county to county as he was traveling, and he left a little money there, and he said, if my son wins the election on my way back, there'll be a little more. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, that was a stolen
Because
election.
West Virginia was not prepared to vote for a Catholic. Because Joe Kennedy, I kind of like the rabbit trail we're on, but Joe Kennedy said this was a turning point of voting for a Catholic in America.
It was. It was in
And
news. It was in news.
absolutely. And the South had a problem with a Catholic, and Joe was concerned, and there was a lot of nervous energy, even though it had a few electoral votes, that West Virginia was not going to go Democrat because of the Catholic. That was strong. So Joe Kennedy took a stack of money through the Bible Belt, and he dropped it off to the local sheriffs. So my son needs to win, and on the way back, there could be more. You don't believe me?
No, I do, and that was a stolen election.
Yes.
That people don't know that. I mean, a lot of people don't know it. It's too far back, but that was a stolen election. It was clearly too many dead people voted in that election.
That's what I do when I relax. I read stuff like that.
It was good. You know, I actually shook
That's
hands.
the way I relax. I don't know.
I shook hands with Richard Nixon.
You did?
I shook hands with Richard Nixon. Sure
Mm-hmm.
did during that campaign.
I'm going to say on worldwide, because we're on the World Wide Web, I'm going to say now, today, what I know today, I do not like Richard Nixon.
Well, I've changed my opinion of him. I was for him during the election.
I do not like, realistically, Nixon was foul-mouthed,
Yep, he was.
very
He was supposed to be
foul-mouthed.
a Quaker.
He was foul-mouthed. He was, the tapes are released. I suggest anybody watch Nixon in his own words. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
It is an HBO documentary. It's called Nixon in His Own Words. And, you know, he wired the White House and wired the White House. And, you know, we have the famous 18 minutes of tape, okay, that's missing. But the reality is, Buddy Nixon let the words Jews and what, he just let it fly.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Yeah. He didn't do that so much.
Oh, it's on tape.
Well, I mean, during the debates. And
Because
stuff
the
like
Library of Congress has released that now.
Is that newly released? Newly released?
I think this documentary is about 2 years old,
That's pretty.
but the Library of Congress has released that. That being said, optics are big.
Yes.
If we get up there and the debate and you're looking and you see Donald Trump and you see Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump says you're a crook, criminal, and you're no good, your foundation took this. It's interesting, your Secretary of State on Monday, on Tuesday your husband gives a speech, and on Wednesday this corporation in this country gets the mining rights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you explain to the American people, though, If that is something Donald Trump can do one-on-one with Hillary, if Hillary looks at Donald Trump on the stage and says, but your tie was made in Mexico. He says, okay, my tie's made in Mexico.
I don't have a problem with that.
It's $18.95. All right, it's a $50 tie made in Mexico. Your husband's speech was made in Canada for $575,000, and then the next day you signed off, Mrs. Environmentalist, you signed off on the environmental impact studies for the Keystone Pipeline. The next week, he gets $575,000 in Canada. It's just a coincidence.
Yeah, all these coincidences.
And then I would go like this, I'd rather have the tie from Mexico.
But you have a problem. He was a businessman. Do you have a problem with him making ties in Mexico?
No! Do you have a phone?
Yeah.
Americans are walking. I would go like this. Yes, my tie's from Mexico. Hillary, you know that private server you had in the basement? Some little guy made it in, Taiwan or Korea, right?
South Korea, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand, yeah. He's a businessman.
Yeah,
I have no problem
she
with
can't
that.
win any of this one-on-one.
Yeah.
One-on-one, it's game over. Gary Johnson gets on the stage. It dilutes it. It dilutes it. That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I hadn't heard that coming up as much. In fact, I hadn't heard it at all.
You do know I'm a leading authority.
Well, I know that's
What's wrong with you?
I'm not
When
going-
you come here, I'm a leading authority on this subject.
I know I'll be going out today and
Why are
telling
you
people
getting me
this.
all worked up?
I'll be telling people this. I got it from you. Yes.
Thank you. My God. You're supposed to come and calm me down with backgrounds. We're supposed to be relaxing in the hour you come. You get me all worked up. Hey, I'm going to throw this out here, switching gears. My
Yeah.
ADD is really kicking up this morning. But you remember Rio starts, the Olympics. Do you watch the Olympics?
Not usually. Some of the things I do are kind of fun to watch. Like I like some of them, but the winter ones I like.
Yeah, all right. Winter I like. Summer Olympics, I guess I'm okay with it. You know, I'm
It's
not,
like me. I don't.
huh?
Unless I have somebody that I know that's in it, or I'm really rooting for somebody, I might look, but I just don't get into it.
Well, going down memory road, don't you remember the Rio Olympics? Isn't that the one that Obama went bust on with Chicago?
I don't know. What's
Yeah. Remember, let's go down Obama's trail of tears to his trail of tears over in Europe where he thought everybody was just going to bow down to him.
Oh,
Okay? Remember Obama went over there to the Olympic Committee and begged for Chicago to get it? Remember?
Okay.
You remember that?
Vaguely. That was back like 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Ralph, what do you got currently besides the middle class now that you're concerned your taxes are going to go up with Hillary Clinton? What else you got on your mind there this morning?
Well, I guess that most of what I've been watching is, of course, about. I mean, there's nothing on television but the election. I mean, except that's about all the news that's in the news. It's either Hillary, or it's Donald Trump, or it's the intervention, or it's her in the middle class, or it's her not coming. You know, now she's got her little intervention going on too. You know, her people are telling her that, you know, Hillary, you got to realize you're dealing outside of reality here. When you're sitting here, they're playing clips of what you said and how they're saying you lied, and you're just saying, well, I didn't hear it that way. That just doesn't satisfy people. That Sunday morning clip with Chris Wallace, that was powerful stuff between Comey and Trey Gowdy.
What happened to us as a nation where lying is as acceptable as it is? What do you think? Because I'm telling you, I'm shocked that these people that come to the podium and these spokesmen and so on and so forth, these are people that have taken classes that, you know, part of their credits, they probably had to take ethics classes,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I had to take them. Yeah,
Right.
Sure.
And they lie.
Yeah.
I mean, they just lie.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see that. It didn't happen. And what do you think?
Well, that's right out of 1984, all that stuff, those type of concepts. I remember back, it was circa 1987. I was preaching in a church in Douglasville, and I had a current U.S. World and Reports with me. And the headline across the front is, America has become a nation of liars. And this was a little thing. This was back then when you would go and buy an Oldsmobile with a diesel engine and find out it wasn't really a diesel engine. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of controversy about particularly product labeling and that kind of deception. In fact, I wrote an article.
Oldsmobile chopped down a gasoline engine and sold it as a diesel.
Yeah, yeah.
Changed the combustion on it.
Bunch
and
of
sold
stuff.
it. Yeah.
So lie. It was a deception. I wrote an article called "The Art of Deception." Because basically, if you think about it, and this goes not just to politics, but if you think about it, so many things in our society is based on deception. What happens when you get in the mail? You look through your mail and you got this thing that looks like a check in the window envelope. You open it up, and what is it? Maybe it's a check for $1,000, but it has to be used on $20,000 worth of furniture to make it valid. Or it's not a check at all. It's just to deceive you to get you to open the envelope. That's just marketing. But it's still deception. It's deceiving you about what's in there. Or if someone tells me something's free, and then you get into it, and all of a sudden it's costing me $80 for this free thing. I mean, everything, these sales approaches you get on the phone are deception.
Well, I like when I pick up the phone and the first line is, "You've been selected."
Yeah.
Been selected. I didn't. How did my name get in the hat?
Yeah. Or how about, "Congratulations, you've run a 4-day Bahama cruise."
Are we at a point where if you are a press secretary, you're a liar? I'm serious. You're a flat out. Now, I don't like embellish. I don't like the word embellish. I understand it's nice. We're in a generation that we sugarcoat it, and we sugarcoat it, and we hear embellish or false truths or stuff like that. No, they're liars.
Yeah.
They're flat out. They're coming out and they just lie. I'm wondering what the use of a press secretary is anymore. I have to tell you, it's because years back, I understand the need for a press secretary. I'm okay, but the need and the use today, I don't see no use in one. I don't understand.
It's CYA. I mean, basically, it's CYA. They're trained in how to answer a question without answering it. It's almost a waste of time. They don't answer the questions. They'll say, "Well, you'll have to refer that to this department to get an answer, or you have to do this, or you have to do that, or I have no information on that." They rarely answer a question. You watch some of the press secretaries, I'm sure.
I can't take them.
Well,
they stand in line. It's just like the guy that's the press secretary now. I forget his name. He's saying yesterday, about the $400 million. Do you realize how illegal everything about us sending Iran that $400 million is?
Yeah.
It's actually against at the time we did this, the sanctions were not lifted. We had not completed the deal. Everything's not done. So at this time, it's against the law for us to directly do business with Iran. So we can't send them dollars. That's the reason it went in euros. We printed $400 million in our Federal Reserve, your tax money. We sent it to Europe and Switzerland. What's Switzerland? They got the Swiss franc or something, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah. So they had $400 million show up, an hour before the hostages got on the plane? I mean, optics are big.
Well, this is what people.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
The State Department, people at the Department of Defense, or at the Department of Justice. I mean, the Department of Justice, the Wall Street Journal is breaking. Justice Department officials said, no, we don't know that it's good. You send in cash. Oh, we're not sending it there. We're going to send it to Europe, and we're going to get so much in euros, and we're going to get so much in Swiss francs, and then we're going to send it, and then that way we haven't directly sent dollars.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
No, I wondered.
You and I are in jail today. We've been doing this show from behind bars.
Got some bars.
You need to get us some bars. I just thought of that. Next time, get us some bars. Wear your orange jumpsuits.
From the cell.
From the cell. I'm serious.
Well,
we do half of anything.
Yeah, Harris Faulkner brought that up on Outnumbered yesterday about what's this thing with all these different currencies? Why is she was trying to get an answer to that question from one of the reporters there. And that is kind of a mystery. I mean, that's deception again. It's deception.
We can't send dollar bills. It's laundering.
Yeah.
It's money laundering.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. When we come back, Ralph and I will continue this conversation. If you'd like to send me a text message, 706-889-9700, or email me, chief@fetchernews.com. I'm your host, BKP. Cole, let's take a break.
Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
While the best athletes gather to compete, the rest of us gather to eat. Pizza Hut's Big Flavor Dipper is here. Almost 2 feet of pizza with 4 flavorful dipping sauces. Big enough to feed the whole team for a small price, just $12.99. The Big Flavor Dipper Pizza, only at Pizza Hut.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
The 50-50 sale is back at Schottenkirk Ford. 50 trucks must go in the next 50 hours. Shop over 250 trucks in stock and starting as low as $79.95. And there's several more on the lot just like it. Yes, 50 trucks must go, and not just Fords. We have all the best makes and models. You have 50 hours to cash in on huge savings. Don't miss our 50-50 sales event at Schottenkirk Ford in Jasper. Online at SchottenkirkFordJasper.com.
El Rey in Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey in Ellijay.
The summer sell-down is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. And if you like to save, the time is now. Get a brand new Chevy Malibu for just $19,700. Loaded Silverado Crew Cab LT, just $33,500. Or a new 2017 Equinox from just $23,700. Days has bonus savings on every new Chevy. But time is running out. Don't miss the summer sell-down at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Introducing Pizza Hut's first $5 flavor menu. Just $5 each when you order 2 or more. Say yes to a medium 1-topping pizza. Yes to Wing Street Wings. Yes to new stuffed garlic knots. And much more. It's easy to say yes to our first ever $5 flavor menu. Only at Pizza Hut.
We got it going on, it's like a daycare.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm trying to figure out how to fit in. Maybe if I grow my hair real long and 3 earrings and a bandana.
Yeah.
Oh no, that would be Scott.
We ought to do that. We ought to just dress that way in honor of Scott. Get
In
ready
honor
for
of
his,
Scott?
For his show. Get him prepped for his show.
Oh my God. Folks, you have to stick around at 10 o'clock. Check this guy out, Scott Farrell Show.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's a lot of
you
fun.
Think I should, I'm gonna have to, if I'm gonna hang out with these guys, I'm gonna have to grow my hair out and be all cool, you know?
You're already cool. You just got to get the hair out.
Thank you, Ralph. There's a reason I like you. Cool as it.
I was thinking. I've been thinking again about the lying and the thing. Now Hillary on one of the shows, it may have been back on the Fox thing. She emphasized the fact I am not trying to abolish the Second Amendment. Well, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. She's tried everything in the world roundabout from, I mean, not just her, but those of her ilk have been trying to outlaw lead and bullets, trying to go after the manufacturers, trying to limit the number of magazines, trying to do this and do that, anything to get some of the guns off the street and get the camel's nose under the hat. So she replaces a judge and probably 2 or 3 more judges, and they can reinterpret the Second Amendment. And that goes back again, we mentioned before, the danger of the living Constitution concept, that it can mean one thing tomorrow and another thing today. So there is no absolutes, which goes contrary, of course, to the biblical approach that God has absolutes. Lying is wrong, and stealing is wrong, and killing is wrong. These are absolutes.
You know what scares me with her constitutional comments, and most of everything does scare me with her. I don't have audio on. They were probably able to hear through you. I forgot to turn my green line. But what I was most concerned about when we talk about her constitutional comments is every time she talks about the Constitution, she says something about all of the amendments. There could be regulations written to all amendments. So she's not against certain things in the Constitution, but it doesn't mean we can't take the Second Amendment and write regulations to monitor that amendment. And I have a problem. That scares the daylights out of me.
All the rights that we have, the Bill of Rights, from freedom of speech on, do have limitations. I mean, there are limitations on freedom of speech, you know, some limitations. Like yelling fire in a theater is the classic one, you know, some of those. And now it's become politically correct. I mean, almost you can't say certain things. So I don't know if, and again, the rights come from God, not from the government, but we've lost that concept too. We look to Washington to tell us what our rights are and what we can do and can't do.
So what do you think? I'm guilty of about at least 8 to 10 hate crimes within 2 hours a day?
Yeah, 8 to 10 is a good number.
Average?
Average.
We'll go with that. We'll stay with that. 8 to 10 is a good number.
No, but it's scary that there's no absolutes, because that means anything can be changed. There's nothing sacred. We're progressive. You know, we change as we go, and that's the whole progressive mindset. I remember the, who was it? It was a policeman's father that pulled out his Constitution and challenged Trump that he probably never read the Constitution.
No. That is Khan. That's the constitutional Khan. He is the Gold Star family.
Yeah.
His son was killed.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah. I'm wondering, in that audience he was speaking to, I bet only a handful of them ever read the Constitution.
Well, the DNC, it took them till Thursday to find American flags.
Yeah.
It did, seriously.
They probably made China.
No, seriously, it took them till Thursday to chant USA. It took them till Thursday to find American flags. The first night of the DNC convention, all they talked about was, you know, a lot of the media, like maybe you and I, we put on Facebook, you've seen it on Facebook, hey, look at the crowd, not an American flag, nobody wearing red, white, and blue as far as the colors, nobody yelling, you know, USA nothing, right? By night 3 and 4, they found some flags and started handing them out. Mm-hmm. These are not flags people brought. They were handing them out, okay? You know what I'd like to have seen at the DNC convention is one of those "Don't Tread on Me" flags.
I didn't see any of those.
Okay, before we close today, because we got about 10 more minutes, I told you this the other day, I call it the American Brexit. And the reason I call it the American Brexit is I think we're 5 days away, not from Obama transforming this country. We're going to find out. I think the challenger, Paul Ryan's challenger, this gentleman, his name's Nealon. Mm-hmm. Is that his name? Nealon, okay? We're going to find out on the 9th. This guy's being taken seriously. He's not a nutcase. He's a businessman. And he said one of the reasons he's running against Paul Ryan out there in the primary was he called Ryan's office and he wanted a return phone call. He called Ryan's office because he wanted to know if the things Jeff Sessions had said about TPP were true. Mm-hmm. And Ryan's office wouldn't call him back and tell him anything. So he's running against Paul Ryan. If this guy loses, the media will make a big deal out of it. But if this guy loses against the Speaker of the House in this district by 2 points, just 2, this is big. But this guy could win on on August 10th. This guy could be the winner, and Paul Ryan could be out of a job. I think we got to wait and see how well this guy does in Wisconsin. It's going to tell a lot.
Anybody else running against Ryan this time?
No.
Just him?
Well, this is the Republican primary.
Right.
So, no, just this guy here. Ryan has the money. He has the money. He's the Speaker of the House. He has the power. But this is going to be interesting.
It will be.
This race will be interesting. And Donald Trump has not endorsed him, but Donald Trump did say that this guy here does say a lot of things that he likes. And when he was asked about Paul Ryan, he said, well, I'm not quite there yet, quoting what Paul Ryan, and I agree with him. But anyhow, this is going to be big this week. Definitely going to be big this week.
That was interesting too about
the polls.
Yeah, the polls there about Clinton. They trust Clinton with the nukes. I guess they have some uneasiness about his temperament. I guess that has sold some people about whether he's not going to go off the handle and push the button.
Well, you know what concerns me with the nuke thing is we're looking at Trump being concerned with him having the nuclear codes. I wish the media that has all these concerns, I wish they would have had these concerns when we were making the worst deal maybe in American history with Iran. I wish they were concerned that Iran could develop nuclear weapons. I wish they were concerned that we're making a deal with somebody that's still chanting death to America in the streets. I wish they had some other concerns other than Donald Trump saying, if you have, somebody came out and said, Donald Trump said in a meeting that he had with some national security people, if you have nuclear weapons, why don't you use them? Well, I'm thinking, okay, what's the answer to that? I mean, we don't want to use them, but why don't you use them? I mean, is there a time and place that you could use them? You want to hear the all around, but so he asked that, and oh my God, it's scaring the daylights out of some people because he just asked, if you have them, why have you never used them?
Well, you remember MAD,
right?
Mutual Assured Destruction. That was a concept of nuclear weapons. We helped each other keep balance so nobody blow each other up.
Right.
And that's still, I mean, that's the way the world is. You can't nuke any one nation without it affecting all the others with the fallout and the things that go along with a nuclear weapon. So it's a horrible, horrible thing for someone in stable hands to have, like North Korea, who hasn't, and Iran's going to probably get it soon. And Obama's been saying all along they're not going to get it, and it's going to be 15 years in the future. I don't believe that a minute.
If Trump will stay focused, and we know we've talked about issues where he's not focused. If he'll stay focused, people are dealing with common sense, and they've been manipulated for so long. And Trump is refreshing because it's making a lot of people think, "Oh, you mean I was not crazy when I thought that?" Because my whole life I've wondered, or just thought to myself, "Hey, how do we give people money when we don't have any?"
We print.
Right, and I how do you go, and for years I always wondered, how do you go and say you cut a deal with somebody and you're going to give them, in a foreign aid package of $1 billion? I didn't know we had $1 billion. So how can you be broke in the morning and then, so that's just common sense things that people wonder. Well, all Donald Trump has to do is stay focused and say, hey, world welfare is over. And I tell you what, he's got my ear. Yeah. I think he's got everybody's ear. World welfare is over. He's got foreign leaders' ears because he has the ear of foreign leaders because every time he says something, the French president and I forget his name, they're all coming out. They're a nervous wreck over the guy. Mm-hmm. A nervous wreck over the guy.
Well, it says on the poll there that we trust Trump on the economy. Now, if you go back to what you're saying, and this is true, same thing that Bill Clinton said in '92, it's the economy, stupid.
That's right.
It's the economy,
That's
stupid.
right.
So if we vote according to our pocketbooks,
yes,
then Trump has got a big advantage in that role. So Yeah, so he is going to do good things for business. I believe that. He's a businessman.
If Trump stands on a stage and says this simple, they yell, well, we don't see your policies. We don't see your... Forget it. I don't want to hear your policies. Tell me this. Before you send some third world country out there $1 billion, that dictators are going to steal it. It's not going to get to the people anyway, that you'll rebuild 12 bridges out west. So I'll trade you $1 billion for 12 bridges out west, right?
Right.
You win.
Yeah.
You win. Right?
Absolutely. You remember back in, I guess it was the 80s, maybe early 90s, when they had all the celebrities doing the video of We Are the World. We are the world.
Yeah, I try to forget, but go ahead. I mean, that was a bad
what happened
visual.
What happened to the money?
I wanted to end on, huh?
What happened to the money? It didn't get to the people they were raising the money for. As I understand it, it rotted in ships offshore. The leaders wouldn't let it come in. There was all kind of things that went wrong with that. You know what I'm talking about? It was a great promotion in the sense of
all right, look, it's just mental manipulation. If Hillary Clinton was having some bumps in the road and she called 5 of her top people in, they would be reporting that Hillary Clinton has called all of her advisors together to chart a plan. This is how they would write it, because trust me, I know how to do that. They would do this. If 5 people, if Hillary Clinton was, the media would come out and say, August, Hillary Clinton wants to know how to keep her campaign on target, on direction, and make sure that they're focusing on the issues that are important to the American people. So sources tell us that Hillary Clinton's called her top five people in, advisors, and they're meeting for an August strategy. And they'd come out and they'd say the August strategy, and they would cheer, right? Now let's turn it around. Trump has called 5 people in that are close friends, and they have made a decision. It's time for an intervention within the campaign because he cannot be controlled. See the difference?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Simple. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the press.
Do you remember when Hillary had to go out to Long Island with all her friends out there and they had to take a weekend and go out there and reset her campaign because she was in trouble?
I don't remember that particular one, but they've been doing that the whole time. They keep reintroducing her.
They went out to Long Island. Let's see if I come up with something.
How many versions of Hillary has there been since the campaign? They reintroduce her every 2 weeks. The new Hillary. So there's been about 10 versions of her, and nobody likes any of them so far.
Hillary's campaign had to go out. Hillary's campaign had to go out to Long Island. Democrat presidential hopeful will be on Long Island Monday, April 11th, in advance of a New York primary. Clinton went out to Long Island. This is probably not exactly the one I'm looking for. They had to reset her campaign. She was in major trouble. But that wasn't the way it was reported. They're not reporting that now. Trump's on an intervention. It's 9:44. I've got Ralph Barker with me. I've enjoyed having Ralph the last 2 days. We have 5 minutes. George will be back next week. George and Edna are traveling out west. And
I've seen his post.
Yeah, he said they're taking pictures of like the largest ball of yarn and those kind of, you know what I mean? You know,
they're having fun.
They are. They're having a lot of fun. George and Edna are having a lot of fun. I've seen his pictures.
I think I'll see if I can find next time I come in is bring a copy of the current Pravda in English. You've ever read Pravda?
I would like to.
Yeah, I actually used to read it because I used to feel bad for Russia because they can't get a true story. And I'm thinking, we can't either anymore. I mean, the press is so slanted now that we can't, it's just like Pravda. Pravda is probably get better information out of Pravda. So I'm going to try to get a copy and I'll bring it in next time. We'll see what the news that they're reporting.
Do that.
I will.
Do that. I do that. I would like to see that. I would enjoy doing that.
That'd be fun.
I'd enjoy doing that. 9:50 will be Oscar Poole's Inspirational Moments with our friend Oscar Poole. He's 86 years young. He has headed out to Seattle. Edna and Oscar are headed to Seattle to see their son. 86 years young. I tell people all the time, listen, if you just get that fraction of I can't do it, then you got to go over and say hello to Oscar. Because Oscar come by the other day and he said he was going to Seattle. And I said, is Edna going with you? He said, well, sure. And I said, well, I didn't know. I didn't know if you was going on a business meeting. I said, Oscar, I didn't know. Maybe you're starting a new business and you're going to fly out to Seattle. You never know with him,
Oscar,
right?
No, he's amazing.
Huh?
Edna is too. I mean, they're just a
Right.
bundle of energy.
Well, he's the colonel, but we always know Edna's the general.
That's right.
That's what he says.
Don't
Edna's
mess with Edna.
They're headed out to Seattle, but inspirational moments with our friend Oscar Poole. Today is Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow, but guess where we'll be? At Sycamore Crossing. We'll be in Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing, the shops at Sycamore Crossing, downtown Blue Ridge, 8 to 10. Come by and say hello. We like to have you come by. We have plenty of room. If you've been watching the show on the couch, we've got room for a dozen people. Come on by, say hello, get involved in the conversation. We'll be up there tomorrow, and then the Scott Farrell Show will also be live from Blue Ridge tomorrow. So that's shops at Sycamore Crossing. And
right there where you meet too, just right there. You can go in there and get some ice cream. They got an ice cream store right there in the square where you sit, right there.
well, I don't want to say my favorite store because I don't want to get in trouble, but Tupelo Tea. You know, I am not. I've never been a real big tea drinker, but Tupelo Tea.
What is Tupelo Tea? Is that just a brand name of a tea?
Well, that's their company. The same people that own the Blue Ridge Olive Oil Company.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Tupelo Tea, you go in there, it's awesome. They got a fresh honey wall that you can put honey in your tea. Just trust me.
Where is it
Tupelo
located?
Tea, right there on the corner. Shops at Sycamore Crossing.
Okay, I'll have to check
Right
that
there on
out.
the corner. And then the Broken Bull, they have all the cool clothing. They've been putting. The Broken Bull put me in some clothes a couple weeks ago. I've got 2 sport coats from there. They're trying to help me out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, trying to help me out. Cool, right?
Yep.
They're telling me I got 2 minutes left. Cole's here. Cole's done a great job this morning. We're glad to have Cole in here. Why don't you come up and join us tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll try to.
Huh?
I'll try to get up there.
Come on up there. Come on up there. We got.
I've been there before. It was good.
Huh?
It was good. I was there before.
Rick's
good.
been coming up. We've had 2 or 3. We got plenty of room to come up on the couch. When are you going to write us something and send it in so I can tell people
I'll
to
do
check
that.
out your column?
I got one in mind. I'll send.
Huh?
In. I got one in mind. I'll send in.
Well, there's something about that's why I asked that, because I've seen something turning, because we're bringing up a lot of subjects.
It is. I just wish that more people were interested. You know, so maybe again, people are tuned out right now to Labor Day. The majority. We're talking to the real choir right now, the ones that stay tuned. But it'll really get going when we get into.
Well,
Labor
actually,
Day.
that's why they're attacking Ralph the choir.
Yeah.
Because, you know, using the church as an example, they want to attack the choir because they want the choir to get all upset about the upcoming musical.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And the problem is, and I say that nicely and nothing negative to the choir, but we're preaching to the choir, they are too. The media knows the choir's listening, and they're trying to crack the choir. They're not trying to crack the independents. They're trying to crack the choir. You with me?
That's a good strategy. Good old
That's
Sun-
what they're trying to
Sun
do.
Tzu again.
Crack
They're
the
reading Sun
choir.
Tzu.
Hey, I'm your host, BKP. It's time for the Oscar Poole's Inspirational Moments, and then stay with us for the Scott Farrell Show, and we're out of here.